The wheel of Dharma, always turning, ever resounding, the outreaching display of compassion of the true nature, beyond past, present, future, the very essence of things. How beautiful we can be together, actually together, in honor and love for that. So just as usual, as we begin any study, any contemplation, any practice or activity, just really reflecting on our joy, appreciation, really these 4 thoughts, how precious our situation is, to kind of really just, again, take a peek at our situation. How precious, we're free of so many circumstances and endowed with so many good conditions and qualities. And then, of course, impermanence. And some glimmer of, the natural law of karma, cause and effect, result, causes and conditions. And then, of course, samsara, our samsara, everyone's samsara. There's really, to whatever degree, that big ocean, just looking at suffering and its causes, and kind of really feeling more and more in our heart how, samsara isn't reliable. We recall, of course, the wanderers is another word for samsara beings in the Buddhist teachings. We're all wandering, looking for just the right space, running from the wrong place, trying to find the right place. But of course, we know eventually we come to realize a little more, there's nowhere to go. That's what the Buddha is pointing out in the 4 Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, but more importantly, beyond and transcending, what's more reliable is that our nature is free of suffering, naturally, and that there is a path to awakening that. So of course, just spending time with that, it's always pointed out, so important to reflect on those thoughts. And again, with love and devotion, feeling the presence of the lineage masters. And we're doing this Ngondro practice, which again, it's the essence of all the teachings, all the practices within Buddhism, and within our tradition, which holds, all 9 vehicles, the full spectrum of study and practice of the Buddhist teachings is what's come to us, and that we have this beautiful karmic connection with. And the Ngondro practices, like Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche says, they're not only the foundation, they're the central column of our practice. If every building or structure needs a good foundation, it also needs strong support, a backbone. And in fact, it's every part of the great, cathedral. Ngondro is everything, and we have these beautiful, concise practices to do and contemplate, and a place to kind of let all of the teachings we've heard in the past, all of, whatever kind of thoughts and understandings and comprehension we've had with that can land in our Ngondro practice. And then, of course, practicing and taking it to heart, really savoring the instructions. They say like a mute person who's very hungry, just savoring delicious food. really giving ourselves the time to practice is so vital and so important. No matter how big it is, it's quality, right? Not quantity. And then having reflected a little on these thoughts with big bodhicitta, that, just the thought that remembering we're doing this not just for ourselves, but for all beings, just really spreading our minds and hearts to that. And connecting with this purity of this moment. That's the essence of everything we're doing. So that's why it's always important to begin with that. And then the Ngondro practices themselves are all of that. And so we've done some discussion on the 4 thoughts. We've kind of been talking a little bit on the taking refuge, the 3 jewels, and like Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche gave such a beautiful teaching last weekend, really pointing out so beautifully how Guru Padmasambhava is the embodiment of all the 3 jewels, the 3 roots, 3 kayas. So we take refuge with that great kind of trust that's ever expanding, ever growing, which means also, again, in our own goodness qualities, we have trust. And that's why we're taking the 3 jewels, the 3 roots, the precious Lama as our guide to awaken our own goodness qualities and be able to be truly of benefit for others. Because until we do, I guess we're just confused. And then the second part of Ngondro, the second section, of course, is our bodhicitta. So there's so much can be said about bodhicitta, but as bodhicitta is the heart essence of all the Buddhist teachings in general, but very specifically brought out these teachings in the Mahayana teachings, which naturally are foundations for the Vajrayana teachings. And what is bodhicitta? What is Mahayana? The view here, right, is everything is mind. Mind is empty. Radically empty, beyond all extremes. This is kind of the view that we're becoming more and more aware and having more and more in our awareness the vast openness of our situation and having more and more of an open heart. And then, of course, loving kindness is also inseparable from that. So the bodhicitta really comes down to, again, wisdom, knowing things as they are, open, empty, vivid, and engendering a kind heart. And that's how Patrul Rinpoche really sums it all up. We can have all kinds of grand, really beautiful explanations and beautiful lists that help us remember all the great qualities and things to remember. Having a kind heart and an open mind and heart is the essence of really our bodhicitta practice. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot today, but maybe just give a little brief review. And these are all things I know are nothing new to anybody. But bodhicitta, right? We often think of bodhicitta, while it is about having a kind heart and wanting to benefit others, it's really understanding that the only way we can really help others is through waking up and increasing our wisdom and understanding more and more and more. Bodhi is, enlightenment. Chitta is the heart or the mind. Those who are working to awaken that in themselves for the benefit of others and helping others are those who are courageous for enlightenment. It means it's not always easy. Why? Because we are samsara beings. We're all confused. We all have ignorance. We all have aversion. We all have attachment and all the other things. We're purifying those things. We're releasing those things. We're bringing out our innate wisdom, our innate compassion, our Buddha nature. But really, taking that to heart and remembering that for ourselves, being kind with ourselves with that is so vital and important. So first, too, then we have, as far as the aspiration to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings, we have these two basic things that the Buddhas gave us to really begin to take that into our heart. And I know we've all heard this, right? The 4 boundless or 4 immeasurables, and the 6 paramitas. And the 4 immeasurables are there. The 4 immeasurables are what? Are immeasurable, boundless love, immeasurable, boundless compassion, immeasurable, boundless joy, rejoicing, immeasurable, boundless equanimity or impartiality. And those are the things that we call more aspirational bodhicitta. If we can truly, really take the time to engender a mind of loving kindness and concern, and really actually feel tangibly our love, our wish that beings be free of suffering and its causes, including ourselves, including those we have challenges with. But have happiness and all of its causes. Be free of suffering and all of its causes. Rejoice in all the fulfillments, temporary and supreme, finding peace. And that everyone could be impartial. So within the 4 boundless, they're called boundless because of this 4th one, impartiality or equanimity. Means that we're not reserving our love and our compassion and rejoicing in others' fulfillments only for a select group, but for everyone, everywhere, in our life, beyond our life. But really not having that just be lip service or little ramble in our head, but really taking that to heart. So that impartiality is so really vital. So, like the teachings say, really taking time to really just open our minds and hearts to thinking how we're all equal. We're all in the same boat. We all have the same beautiful nature and potential for peace and awakening and joy that's free of clinging and misunderstanding, hope and fear, just naturalness. We all have that potential. And we're all in the same boat, that while we all have that same potential and same nature, we don't understand it or see it in different degrees. We're all confused, And so, of course, just thinking of those we do know and love, wishing them happiness and its causes. But spreading that out, really thinking of those that we have challenges with. There's all kinds of ways we can think about that. But maybe at some point, we had good relations with them, either in this life or another life. Maybe the people we love in this life or another life, we've had challenges with in the past. Have even been, who knows, mortal enemies with, you know. These are the teachings. This is impermanence. Things change. We all want happiness. But so it's really just trying to spread that, thinking of those we have challenges with, at least trying to see how we can have another way, how they want happiness too. Just spreading that. Because it's really that impartiality that's going to really spread and just increase, using that as the foundation to really increase our true wish for others to have happiness and its causes. Really have that love expand and truly be impartial. And our compassion, or ningje, have our heart really wish that, that people be happy and be free of any suffering. And truly rejoice in everyone's fulfillments. If we really have this as a truly, just an inclination that's more and more natural and more part of our experience and our wishes, by actually seeing how we're all equal and just pointing our mind in the direction of our love and compassion and joy for others, as our children, as our friends, as our mothers and as our fathers, all sentient beings. If we have that inclination, then we're more engaged to really bring out our own bodhicitta, and then that's the 6 paramita practices. And similar to the 4 boundless, where it's equanimity or impartiality, that makes all the 4 boundless boundless. It's the 6th paramita that makes all the others transcendent and truly beneficial. That's because what is the 6th? Is increasing our wisdom. Seeing things as they are, our awareness beyond concepts, and then also just understanding things as they are relationally is going to make us more and more informed as we engage and develop and perfect these other paramitas, what are doing what? Again, they're just uprooting our ego clinging, our aversion, our attachments, where we're hung up and snagging, creating more trouble for ourselves and others, whether we know it or not, or like it or not. So the practice of generosity, of just an open, giving mind and heart, of, pure conduct or morality, just being more and more sensitive to what's appropriate or inappropriate in all the different situations we find, which especially in this world we all know can be challenging. We all come from so many different backgrounds and cultures. There's just a lot. So becoming more and more sensitive to that, refraining from what's disruptive and, upsetting, engaging more in what's kind of nurturing and balancing and uplifting. That's morality. Having more patience means dealing with our, uprooting our frustration and our anger when things aren't going the way we think they should. But trying to be more understanding and accept things as they are, and situations as they are. ourselves as we are, others as we are, and then joyful effort, and not being distracted, developing our concentration with our wisdom. So then, of course, it's all easy to say and it starts right now, but really in the teachings, these 6 paramitas, that's the whole moving through all the 10 bhumis. Even, through the 5 paths. At least I'm just a little beginner, But even all the great bodhisattvas are perfecting these paramitas. It just becomes more and more transcendent, more and more perfect, more and more natural. So I'm just trying to give a quick little overview of these 2 things, and we can explore them a little bit more in the future. And of course, there's so many great teachings on these things, and we've also heard them. But as we all know, it's really taking these things to heart, relaxing, absorbing, really being with what the teachings awaken in our minds and hearts, and keeping with it is so important and so vital, no matter what happens. Ups, downs, goods, bads, troubling. Just keep going, keep practicing. So that's all I'm going to say for now. And we'll enjoy this time to really practice together. So thank you. Thank you for your patience in listening to this a little bit. I hope it's helpful. And again, I'll say, really, if people have any questions or anything like that, they want to kind of know more about or clarify, please do feel free to write in or call. And there's people in the room too. So everyone's included in that. So thank you, and now we'll just do a little practice. So.